The small hotel is located on the edge of the forest. The afternoon sunlight shines through the large glass panels in the main lobby. The space was so quiet that all you could hear was the air conditioner and the scratching of pens. The young receptionist named Lena was standing at the reception desk taking notes, completely unaware of what was approaching. Lena wore a neat light blue uniform, her long hair tied low, her figure petite, her eyes focused on the reservation book. A security camera was recording her every move from above. Outside, the sun was shining, the trees swaying gently in the early summer breeze. The glass door was opened slightly to let in the breeze, creating an unexpected space for the uninvited guest. From the steps outside the hall, a large shadow quietly entered without a sound. It was a full-grown leopard, its fur golden with prominent black spots, its body covered in dirt. Sharp nails slid across the polished tile floor, leaving a light clacking sound like the ticking of a clock. Security cameras recorded every step of its journey, detecting unusual movements and immediately sounding a red alert. The leopard moved slowly, its eyes cloudy as if it had just emerged from a long coma. Its belly was flat, its hind legs limp, its nose wet, and it was panting as if it had been dehydrated for days. It did not roar, just looked around with the eyes of a lost wanderer. Gradually, the distance between it and Lena was less than 3 steps. Its shadow fell long on the floor, right behind the unsuspecting girl. The fateful moment was approaching, and it was all captured clearly on camera, frame by frame. Lena accidentally turned around to get a towel to wipe the table when her eyes caught the figure of the leopard standing silently. At that moment, her eyes opened wide, her whole body froze like a statue in the middle of a summer afternoon. She didn't dare to scream or move violently, just took a very slow step back and kept her breathing steady. The leopard remained motionless, just tilting its head to look at her, its eyes not fierce but empty and painful. The air in the hall seemed to be sucked away, each passing second felt like hours. Lena put her hands on the counter to keep her balance, her heart beating so fast it was suffocating. The leopard suddenly groaned softly, its head bowed low, its whole body seemed about to collapse. Its left front leg was bleeding, a rusted iron trap still clamped above the ankle. Lena was horrified but remained calm, her eyes never leaving the serious wound. Blood dripped from the door to where he stood, spreading into a dark red patch. The leopard staggered for a moment, then suddenly collapsed to the floor, its whole body gasping for breath. The smell of blood, sunburned fur, and forest soil mixed together. Lena took 2 more steps back, pulled her phone from her skirt pocket, and dialed the nearest wildlife rescue center. Her voice was shaky but firm, describing the animal's condition and the hotel's location. The leopard lay motionless but alive, its ears twitching slightly, its eyes half open. Lena carefully took a clean towel and placed it near the animal, then stood a few meters away to keep watch. A male employee just entered the lobby and shouted, causing Lena to quickly signal for silence. She asked all guests to leave and stayed behind to wait for the rescue team to arrive promptly. 10 minutes later, the rescue center's pickup truck stopped abruptly in front of the hotel lobby. 3 personnel in special uniforms, carrying medical kits, anesthetic guns and transport equipment. One approached the leopard from behind, while the other 2 stood firmly in front. They checked his breathing, observed his wound, and decided on a safe dose of anesthesia. The needle was lightly shot into the leopard's thigh, it was startled but did not resist. Less than a minute later, its body relaxed, breathing evenly and falling into a state of peaceful sleep. The iron trap was removed from the leg with a special tool, blood oozing out again. A deep cut exposing tendons, obvious signs of infection with swollen skin around the wound. They applied a temporary bandage to stop the bleeding, then gently placed the animal on a wheeled stretcher. Lena walked over, grabbed the lifeguard's hand and asked, "Will it survive?" The captain smiled. "If we had discovered it a few hours later, we might not have been able to save it." The leopard was loaded onto the vehicle, its soft cushions and harnesses keeping it safe throughout the journey. The security camera was still recording, capturing the entire touching moment in silence. The car rolled out of the hotel lobby, carrying with it a life hanging between life and death. Lena stood watching until the car disappeared around the corner, her hands clenched and her eyes filled with tears. The leopard was named Ruto, which means bearer of hope from the forest, in the local language. At the rescue center, veterinarians urgently performed minor surgery to clean and suture the wound. Ruto was given deep anesthesia, intravenous fluids, and antibiotics to fight severe infection. They discovered many old wounds all over its body, proving that it had been wandering for quite a while. The matted fur was shaved clean of fungus, the back full of scratches and parasites. The first day, Ruto didn't eat anything, just lay curled up and breathed weakly on the foam floor. The night shift doctor sat next to him reading a book and playing soft music to help him feel at ease. By the third day, Ruto began licking the meat broth and moving his head slightly. They happily told Lena the news. She immediately went to visit and sat by the cage for an hour. When he saw her, Ruto opened his eyes and stared, as if he had recognized the first person who was not afraid of him. From that day on, Ruto recovered more quickly, started eating raw meat and stretching and walking around the cage. The wound dried up, the stitches faded, and new fur began to grow back, golden and smooth as before. Ruto is moved to a semi-wild restoration area, with trees, rocks, streams, and natural sounds. Here, it begins to practice hunting fake prey to restore its natural reflexes before returning to the forest. Doctors assessed that the animal's health was up to standard and decided to prepare a file to release it back into the wild. Lena also came to attend that special day, bringing the white scarf that had been placed next to it on the first day. One clear morning, a special vehicle took Ruto to a deep forest reserve more than 50 kilometers from the center. The cage door opened into the middle of tall grass, where there were no people, only birds chirping and the wind blowing. Ruto stepped out, his head raised to sniff the air, his ears pricked up and his eyes shining. It did not run in a hurry, just stood there for a while as if feeling every familiar breath of the forest. Lena stood at a distance, waving her hand slightly and smiling softly, her eyes filled with emotion. Ruto turned his head to look back one last time, his eyes calm and grateful. A deep roar came from its throat, and then its entire body shot into the forest like lightning. The staff clapped lightly, everyone smiled, although in their hearts a feeling of quiet separation arose. Lena's white scarf fluttered in the wind, hanging on a tree branch as a souvenir. Ruto was set free, where it belonged, and where it almost never returned. The story of Ruto and the hotel employee has gone viral on social media as a real-life miracle. Lena was honored for her brave and calm actions, becoming a symbol of humanity in the service industry. And Ruto, the surviving leopard, became a legend, recorded by the hotel camera as a news report from the wild.